Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Rocco and I'm glad that you've stopped by to check out this little video. If you didn't know already, I do DAZ tutorial videos to help you to get the most out of your own DAZ 3D renders. In this video, we're going to be taking another look at dForce. Now, I know there's still quite a few people out there who shy away from it for one reason or another. That's maybe because they don't know what to do with it, how to do it, or because you just can't really seem to get it working, or you just run into various problems that can exist with dForce. So I figured it was time to take a peek at one of the people's big bugbears with dForce, and that is explosions. Now, for those that are new to dForce, a dForce explosion is when the calculations that DAZ has to make during the simulation get too complex for it to handle, and it results in the geometry of the clothing that we're trying to simulate to explode outwards in some wild and wacky fashion. Think of trying to divide something by zero and ending up having a brain fart. That's basically what happens during DAZ when we get one of these explosions. Now, dForce has improved in this regard over the last few versions, and so thankfully the explosions are now just coming few and far between. It's only really older, maybe Genesis 3 clothing items that aren't really set up to work with dForce that you can get the basic explosions that can happen. Although we can fix them, it's simple enough to fix. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at an example of an explosion, and then go through some of the steps we can take either before we do the simulation or once we've realized it's happening, or once it's realized it's happened, to prevent it from happening again and when we re-simulate things. So as we can see here in the viewport, we have our model for today's video sitting on a table wearing this brand new frock. And doesn't she look lovely? Well, she does, but things aren't quite right. If we take a look down here, we can see that her hand is clipping through the dress and there's a bit of a sticky up bits there, and it's a good job I put a pair of panties on her. Whereas if we come out to the perspective view and look on the other side, we can see again that it's clipping through the table here, and there's sticky up bits around here as well. In all, it's a little bit of a mess, and what we need to do to fix this is use dForce. Now, if you've not played around with dForce before, what you'll be able to see up there in the top right of the screen is a couple of videos that are previously done on dForce, how to set it up, how to run things over timelines, etc, etc. I'm going to assume that you know about that already when we're doing this example here. If you don't, you're not quite sure what it's all about, check out those couple of videos first and then pop back over here to carry on with this one when you're done. So what we're going to do now is run a dForce simulation over a 30 frame timeline. If we just come down to the timeline and open it up and then come out to frame 0, we will see when DAZ catches up that our model is just stood in a basic pose in front of the table, waiting to be simulated. One of the first things I'm going to do though is I'm going to turn off the model's hair, and the reason for that is because the hair itself is dForce simulated and I've got it how I want it to be, and I don't want it to re-simulate the hair because it might mess about, and secondly as well, I don't want the hair to be interfering with the dress in any way, shape or form. If you ever do dForce, turn off things like hair. So what we've got the model stood there then. So what we're going to do now is come across to simulation. We're going to come across to the simulation tab. We're going to turn off start bones from memorize pose, and we're going to turn on animated use the timeline on the frames to simulate. Now hopefully at some point during this simulation we'll get an explosion. It's done it in testing, so it should do it again. If not, then this is just a video of a 3D woman sitting down on a table, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe, etc, etc, and I'll see you next. No, it should explode. Hopefully, cross fingers, touch wood, and all that stuff. It should do it. It's done it a couple of times when I have been testing it. So what we'll do now is we'll set off the simulation, and when it explodes, we'll stop things, we'll take a look, and we'll examine why it's done it, and then show some steps as how we can fix it. Now, because the simulations in dForce are slow, this is going to take a while, so what I'll do, I'll just fast forward things and I'll get back to you once everything blows up. I'll see you in a moment. And there she blows. Thankfully, for the sake of the video, the dress has indeed exploded. It's turned into something like a paper ballroom dress or something. Anyway, there are generally only a couple of reasons as to why clothing these days explode. And looking at what we have here is certainly one thing that stands out for me. That explains probably why it has exploded, but we'll get to that one in a moment. There's also a general reason as to why things explode. If you're simulating an older, non-dForce compliant item of clothing, you'll be more likely to suffer with explosions like this. Think Genesis 3 stuff, even stuff before that, and even some early Genesis 8 stuff might not be the greatest things in the world to simulate without having to work at and without having to make fixes to get them to work. Most of the recent stuff that you get these days will work almost perfectly fine with dForce. Even those items of clothing that aren't specifically set up to do dForce simulations out of the box, with a little bit of tweaking, you can get them to work perfectly fine with dForce themselves. Now, these explosions can still occur. And the reason for that is because the geometry that makes up the item of clothing can get squashed and crumpled up against itself, bending it this way and that and doing all sorts of crazy stuff with itself. And what it ends up doing is pushing that material and that cloth beyond the limits of what it's been set up to be able to do within dForce. You might not be able to see where it occurs, but it's there and it's done it. And you certainly won't be able to see through this mess that we can see here as to where it happens, but it's there somewhere. Now, fortunately, there's an easy enough fix which will catch and prevent most, if not all, of these seemingly random explosions. What we need to do is to go into the Scene tab and select the dress itself. So we come up to where I've got my model, expand all this out, click on the cyber dress, which is what it is, and then we need to come down to the Surfaces tab. We can see that this particular dress has a whole load of these different parts to it. We need to select them all. So we just select the top. And then in the options over here, we need to come all the way down to where we have, it will be bend stiffness. It'll be somewhere down here. There it is, bend stiffness. As a default, it's set at 0.5. What we need to do is to change this down to 0.1. I started doing this out of habit in the early bad days of dForce, but what bend stiffness does is it defines just how much the dress or the material that we're working with can bend and squash up with each other and crumple together. The higher the number, the less tolerant it will be to those bends. The lower the number, it will more easily bend and be able to get squashed up and crumpled. That will therefore, at that 0.1 rating, prevent most, if not all, of these random explosions. But there's one other reason why explosions occur, and I suspect that in this example that we've just done, this is the reason why. This dress that our model's wearing is relatively new and is dForce compliant straight out of the box, but it's still exploded, and it's done this because of this second reason that I'm alluding to. Something has clipped through the dress and has dragged out the material, which has caused dForce to have a wobble and to blow the dress up in the way that you can see. The culprit, I believe, is this hand, the right hand here. Now, it's a bit difficult to see as we get here. So what I'm going to do, with the cyber dress selected up there, I'm going to just come to simulation settings, dForce, and clear selected objects. And what that does, that removes the dForce simulation. If we take a look at the hand here, we can see that the fingers are clipping through our model's thigh. Now, if we spin around a moment, we can't really see the dress at this point, but we could probably tell that this dress is going to stretch down during the simulation, and her fingers are going to catch hold of it and start dragging it across her knee and probably into the structure of her leg. That is going to cause an explosion nigh on every single time that it happens. If we just come back a couple of little frames, we can probably see this developing. So if we come maybe to frame 16, there is no hand at that point. But if we imagine the dress stretching down a little bit, you can probably see how the fingers are going to catch it and pull it probably through the geometry of a leg, as I've just mentioned. Now, the easy way to fix this is simply by moving the hand out the way. It's as simple as that. So if we come to, let's say it was frame 17 when it first started to go into the leg, all we need to do at this point is we need to just take our arm for a moment at the shoulder, come across to parameters, and we've just got to move this arm out the way during the animation that we're doing. And what will happen is we can see actually down below, if this catches up, Daz is a bit slow there, we can see just down here we've created a little keyframe just at this point in the animation on frame 16 that's positioned their arm at that point. What will happen now, the animation will move the arm to that point at frame 17, and then eventually up at frame 30 it will move the arm back into place where it should be. Now I know the dress is clipping there because we've taken the simulation data off. Now what we need to do before an animation, or even at this point, is just have a flick through the timeline on different frames, looking for places where something can intersect or clip through the clothing, or potentially clip through the clothing. That is usually the model's parts of the model's body, whether it's a legs or whether it's its arms, but it also could be something in the environment, the table, for instance, in this case. So we just got to flick through the frames, just making sure there's no clipping through the dress itself. Now we can see the arm getting fairly close here, but by this point the simulation will probably have settled enough that it won't really impact upon the arm whatsoever. So it looks like now that's clear. There'll be nothing else clipping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set off the simulation again, having moved that arm out the way, and set up the bend stiffness down to 0.1 like we've just showed. And now hopefully when we resimulate things, everything should be fine. I'll set the simulation off again. We'll fast forward and we'll have a look. Hopefully this time it won't explode. I'll see you again very shortly. And there she is now, all sat down. No explosions on the dress. Everything looks good. Doesn't seem to be any issues there whatsoever. No explosions, nothing. All good. So what we'll do now, we'll put her wig back on. So she's dressed properly. I'll just switch across to my actual camera that I'm using for the scene. Get rid of the timeline. And what we'll do, we'll go across to NVIDIA Iray preview and just see how things look. And there is the final scene that I've got. All the dress is fine. The only bit I've got a complaint about is this little bit of dress that's just landed on the table over here. It's got nothing to do with you know, the explosions. It's purely just the way that the dress has fallen during the simulation. What I'd probably do is just pull that out of the way using something like mesh grabber. But overall, everything's worked out fine. We've got rid of the explosion. The dress is fallen accurately as it should do with dForce, and we've got a nice little scene there with our model. And that's it. That's the best way to get rid of the explosions when it comes to dForce. There's only really those two ways that you'll get the explosion, and those two fixes will generally take care of the vast majority of explosions that you'll get with dForce. So hopefully you've got something out of this video. You've enjoyed it and got something out of it, and hopefully, you know, for those people who are still a little bit reluctant to use dForce, get in there, start using dForce, as it makes your images a lot better when the clothing all hangs and drops and drapes correctly. If you've got any questions, then drop them down below in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And in the meantime, please like this video, share it around, pass it all around. That really helps me a lot. And also as well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate that. Just a reminder also, you can give a little thanks downstairs if you just want to give me a little bit of a tip to say thanks for the video. And also I've got a membership scheme going on down there if you want to click the join button and just support the channel in that way, the best way that you can. So thanks for your time, thanks for watching. I hope I've helped you out, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.